Shalom. Bimnika. Shabupi Buaba. Hi. Welcome to the Frito Bandito Taqueria. My name is The Feral. Welcome, amigos. Sorry for the late start. I figured out my daughter accidentally decided to sign in using her child Google account into AI chatbot site, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna delete that. Damage has probably already been done, but kind of ain't jack diddly shizballs that I can do about it now. So yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. Because my wife sends me this thing, and it's like, your daughter has signed into a thing. She's like, how did she download this? I'm like, I don't know. So I grabbed my Chromebook, and then checked it out, and then I realized, oh crap, no, she just signed in using her Google account. So I just had to delete the connection, and thankfully that fixed it. But yeah. My daughter's all like, oh, I'm like, hey, you're not in trouble. You don't understand this. We get it. But at the same time, don't do it again. So, cheers to Spilt. Good old Spilt milk. I'm proud to state that I have tarp covering half my yard now. I need to go through tomorrow and gotta nail them all down. So nail all the tarp stuff down. So then we don't have any extra issues. Hold up. My sombrerito is coming off. Gotta put the sombrero back on. Alright. Do I got a retainer bell near me? No, I don't. Okay, check my retainer real quick. I made it well over 200.5K over the weekend. Hey, operator. So, did you clear all Savage yet?
No.
Oh.
I'm not doing Savage.
Oh, you're not doing Savage?
I'm clearing out the FC house to prepare it for demolition.
Are we getting a new FC house, or are we just done?
I'm quitting the game.
Oh, fully?
Unless they completely 180 their design decisions, the game's dead. From both a gameplay and narrative standpoint, the game is dead.
Wow.
It is not the game I started playing in 4.3 at all.
Wow. That's a pretty hefty claim there, amigo.
Not really. It's like, I'm reading through a thread on Reddit right now that's talking about all the gameplay stuff they removed. It's like, they removed everything.
Well, give me some highlights.
Okay, let's scroll back up and I can give you the highlights.
So right. This is the last big patch update, right?
No. This is everything they removed over the course of 2.0 until now.
Oh, wow.
So these were systems that existed in 2.0 and have gradually been removed from the game. So classes, you know how you get to level 30 and then you get your job?
Right.
Using the job stone, there used to be times where that was suboptimal. Because you got more cross-class abilities, which is a system that got removed and replaced by role abilities.
Ah, yes.
You didn't start playing neither of us started playing until Stormblood, so we only ever saw the roll ability system.
Right.
But like to get Swiftcast, you used to have to level Thaumaturge 26.
Oh, wow. Wow, that would
Job
have been
prerequisites. To unlock your jobs, you used to have to get another job to level 15.
Right, that makes sense, yeah.
Stat allocation, that was a thing. You gain stats as you level, place them where you wanted.
Right.
Unfortunately, they included main stat in that, so there was indeed a correct option. If they had not included main stats in that, then it would have been a really good system.
Huh. Okay.
Single versus two-handed equipment. Casters used to have a choice between wands plus shields and staves. That got removed in ARR even.
Yeah.
Accuracy replaced with direct hit. There used to be an accuracy stat that was replaced with direct hit going into Stormblood.
Okay.
Parry, similar to block rate, blah blah blah. Tank stat that was never good because it was chance mitigation. Well, just did not work in 14. Block rate strength. Yeah, block rate and block strength, that's still kind of in the game, but not variable like it used to be. Elemental resistances completely removed. Blunt slashing piercing resistance. So this was something that you used to be able to apply debuffs based on damage type. And this was removed going into Shadowbringers. It used to create group synergy, as you would want a Dragoon to apply piercing debuff for your Bard.
Right.
And Machinist.
Okay, yeah. So party comp was a little more important with that kind of an idea.
Piety affected your MP pool. It increased the size of your MP pool. Now it just affects how fast your MP regens, because we fix the size of your MP pool. And Piety used to also be applicable to non-healers. Black Mage in Heavensward would meld a certain amount of Piety in order to get 6 Fire 4s.
Oh.
Main stats weren't forced the way they are now, so like tanks could wear DPS accessories.
Right.
Now we get to the big stuff, TP and MP management. This is the reason why 14 dungeons are boring. AoE skill spamming. Nobody thinks about it anymore. But back in the day, your AoE skills cost more MP by a considerable margin, and if you weren't a caster or healer, then your GCDs cost TP instead. And your AoE GCDs cost double the amount of TP.
Right. I want to say that I actually remember the TP system.
You should, because it was in Stormblood.
Yeah.
And you started at the end of Stormblood.
Right.
And then we had TP and MP synergy skills. Some classes had skills to assist in regenerating TP for single players or the whole party. Like Bard was really good at this.
Right.
Bard was a support DPS role at the time, which is something else that's been basically gutted and removed. Bard's songs used to be primarily focused around generating TP and MP. Army's Paean and Mage's Ballad were literally, that was all they did. They buffed TP and MP regen while draining the Bard's MP.
Right.
Battle Voice would double this effectiveness. So that was really big for dungeons and raids and everything. It's like Bard was really strong and desirable back then.
Yeah, because I know one of the big things that I know of was the whole tank stance. Tank stance,
Yeah,
and then
we'll
damage.
get to that in a second.
Right.
Sprint, you wouldn't remember this because this was a Heavensward. This was one of the changes in Stormblood. 4.0 removed this. Sprint used to consume all of your TP and scale duration to the amount of TP it consumed.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, yuck.
That was a good change.
Yeah,
the way it
that
works
was
now
a
is
very
much better.
positive change.
So now we get to the enmity system, and that's listed in this post. And this guy says it was about 50% of what tanks were doing during combat, and I would agree with that. And I really miss enmity management. It's why I stopped playing tank, because enmity management was the only thing that was making tanks fun.
1 second,
in 14.
Bladed.
Hmm?
There should be. Hold on, I gotta.
Hmm?
Should be. Hold on, I gotta.
Hmm?
Should be. All right, gonna get off that. Check out the link tree, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom of the link tree. It's in the comments. It's in the link area below. So if you would care to join the Frito Bandito Taqueria after party, hit that link, and then the link tree, scroll all the way down, and then the Discord link is at the bottom of that. I use a 2-tier system to help ward off bad bots. Anyway, continue, operator.
Yeah, so we used to have a much more involved enmity system. We had defensive stances, which nerfed your damage output, gave you a defense increase. Warriors gave you an massive HP increase and healing received increase, but the healing received was only from GCD heals, so by Stormblood it was a little weird. Then we had DPS stances. And DPS stance was actually where a lot of tank identity came from. Because it did something different for every tank. It opened up new mechanics, provided buffs. It changed our entire playstyle.
Many indeed are eager to curry favor with the Resilient Sun. Especially if it means sharing the promise of new territories.
Removing that homogenized tanks a lot. Especially with what they did to Dark Knight, which we'll get into in a second. Enmity combos. I still to this day miss Butcher's Block. It had the best freaking animation of any of Warrior's DPS combos.
Words, yet the manner in which he speaks them.
But
is neither wealth nor territory,
you know, being in defensive stance wasn't enough to just like defensive stance increased your enmity generation, but it wasn't by very much.
Right.
It wasn't by anywhere near as much as tank stance now increases your enmity generation. You needed to do your enmity combo if you were needing to build up enmity. Just doing your enmity combo out of defensive stance would actually do a lot more enmity generation than doing a DPS combo under enmity stance.
Oh, okay.
And then the DPS had a bunch. Well, the DPS and the healers had a bunch of abilities for themselves to manage their own enmity, so the tank didn't have to go into defensive stance to build their enmity back up. It was so everything like TP, enmity, all this was all managed by the party, and the identity of the jobs was built up around this.
Right.
And now I'm just gonna start quoting verbatim what they've written about Dark Knight here, because Dark Knight has had huge issues with identity since Shadowbringers, because they basically just copied Warrior in a lot of ways, and it's just really not been fun to play compared to their previous iterations. And they've written up a whole thing here, so I'm just going to quote from that. Dark was a class that was focused on subverting two mechanics that have since been removed from 14. Resource management and stance dancing. Unlike Paladin and Warrior, which had to choose between defensive and DPS stances, Dark's defensive stance was identical to the other two. Increase enmity, increase defense, nerf DPS by 20%, which is actually not true because Warriors was not identical. Warrior had a different defensive stance, but Dark's defensive stance was identical to Paladin's. but its DPS stance, Dark Side was unique. Unlike the other two, Dark could activate Dark Side while in tank stance. It provided a very powerful DPS increase, like 20%, but also drained MP and prevented the Dark from gaining additional MP from external sources like support DPS. Which right off the bat means that Dark Knight had the ability to ignore its tank stance DPS penalty by keeping Dark Side active. But it also meant that using Dark Side with Grit off gave you a flat 20% damage increase, something no other tank had. Dark Knight is traditionally known as a class that expends HP to deal damage, and 3.0 to 4.0 Final Fantasy XIV, it was a class that expended MP to deal damage and used taken damage as a source of strength. Blood Price would give you resource based on damage taken. Blood Weapon would give you MP for landing abilities. TBN provided Blood Gauge when it was introduced, which let you use Quietus. Quietus would restore MP based on number of enemies hit instead of once per hit. Meaning the bigger the mob you are fighting, I think he means the bigger the pack, the more sources of damage you took, the more damage you could output. It was really cool. Of course, with the complete removal of TP MP management, tank stances, and enmity management, Dark Knight lost most of his built-in identity by default.
Right.
Skills like Reprisal and Low Blow were also Dark Knight abilities that were taken and given to all tanks as role abilities. The only thing that survived was its focus on magic defense, and once all tanks went the route of DPS with tank skills, Dark had nothing left.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Little other things. Auto-attacking. So
Yeah.
you used to have to face the enemy in order to auto-attack, which led to some interesting things for Bard, because that was a significant portion of their DPS, and if they weren't facing the enemy, you'd miss auto-attacks, which added up quite a bit during raids.
Well, I mean, auto-attacks now are practically useless, right?
Let me go get you an exact quote on that, because they're not.
Oh, okay. But,
reports. Let me find... No, that's... I want one with a clear. Can I find one with a clear? Kills. Here we go. Alright, this will do. Okay, let's look at this samurai. His third highest damage comes from his auto attack.
wow, really?
It's 8.7% of his DPS.
Wow. I just don't think
It does,
that you use
it does more
auto-attack
than
that much.
Midare. And this guy's got an orange parse. So he's like, 96th percentile.
Huh. I mean...
Midare and its... Yeah, like... You have to combine Midare and its follow-up in order to beat the auto attack.
Well, I mean, that's
Midare's-
strange to me
it's
because
big
aren't you
damage
technically supposed to be rolling the GCDs? And if you're rolling the GCDs, you're not necessarily auto-attacking?
No, you're still auto attacking.
Oh, okay. So, my big question is, Operator, what are you going to fill that void with? If you're leaving Final Fantasy XIV for good, what are you going to fill that void with?
Right now, I'm looking at FF11. I've got World of Warcraft, too.
Oh, okay.
But, like, you guys don't play 14. I've just... For most of Endwalker, I was just keeping sub to keep the house alive. Basically. I wasn't really playing during Endwalker because Endwalker was boring. And then Dawntrail comes out, and it's like the complete death of the story.
Okay.
They've also removed dot abilities on most jobs. They removed Cleric Stance, which...
So, yeah, I remember Cleric Stance.
No, you don't.
What? I thought we had Cleric Stance.
You had the reworked version of Cleric Stance in Stormblood. OG Cleric Stance swept your int in mind, because healer DPS skills used to scale off of int.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It was a stance, an actual stance, and while you were in it, you basically couldn't heal.
Right. Okay.
That was ARR and Heavenward.
So yeah, Bladed. Honestly, the Operator has played way more Final Fantasy 14 than I would ever play. So he's a little burnt out. So what I would say is, if you're playing the free trial for Final Fantasy 14, you know what? Have fun with it.
If you enjoy the game now, it's probably not going to change in any significant way ever again.
Yeah.
So you'll probably continue to enjoy it.
I mean, what's really...
The thing is, I fell in love with the game in patch 4.3, and I enjoyed Stormblood, and then they significantly changed the game in Shadowbringers, and then they killed off all the lore that they started in 2.0, and 1.0, actually.
Yeah.
So they went and finished all the lore in Endwalker, killed it all off, tied it all up in a nice little bow, and now we've got Dawntrail, and I would rate Dawntrail's story a freaking 2 out of 10.
Message.
So to me, the game's just dead.
Yeah, I mean, what I find absolutely hilarious is, and I asked Nock this question, and I understand that I am going to be getting a very, very, very different answer from you. But I'm seeing all over the freaking place that all of what I would probably rate as filthy casuals are up in arms about the massive difficulty swing over the course of the dungeons in Dawntrail. Now, what's your... I know that you're going to say that they all just need to get good and learn their mechanics, but my question is, do you feel like there was a difficulty swing between the dungeons in Dawntrail specifically?
Yeah, but it was like a speed bump.
Okay. So a speed bump in your terms, but definitely you can see how filthy casuals can view it as an insurmountable mountain.
No, not really. These people must be brain-dead troglodytes.
Okay. So you would envision I may stumble at a couple of these, but I shouldn't really have any issues.
You might have some serious issues with a couple of them, but not particularly.
Oh, try is not the proper word for operator playing World of Warcraft.
I've done stuff in Classic. I mostly played that to just kind of see how it was historically, because I have after seeing what 14's done, I want to know and study the MMO landscape a lot, and so I went back and played older WoW versions just to kind of see what World of Warcraft went through and see if I can relate that to Final Fantasy 14. I've learned that I absolutely hate raiding. That is one thing, especially with this, like a guild or a static, I just absolutely hate it. Raiding in Wrath Classic was a freaking nightmare.
Okay, now, full disclosure, I have never touched World of Warcraft. So I absolutely have no context for anything World of Warcraft related.
I really enjoy doing Mythic Plus on retail, but, or at least I did in Shadowlands. The defensive creep in Dragonflight and War Within is getting me, like, to the point where I'm like, this is a little more demanding than I want. I really don't like the defensive creep in M+.
Yeah, so operator, just so you know, I don't know if you saw my my roadmap, my new state of the stream post that I put in the Discord. But basically, I'm looking to start Baldur's Gate 3 probably later on. I mean, because I know probably about another month I should be about done with Dragon's Dogma. Is post-game stuff in Dragon's Dogma worth it, or is it just beating bigger, badder monsters? Is that basically what it is?
Okay. So, there's two... Once you beat the dragon, there's two post-game things. There's Bitter Black Isle, which is absolutely worth it.
Okay.
And then there's the actual ending of the game.
So technically, I'm going to want to do both.
Yes. The only thing that isn't worth it would be hardcore farming the Dragon.
Hardcore what?
Hardcore farming the Dragon.
Oh, farming the Dragon. Okay, got it.
Because, which is actually kind of a shame, because the Dragon is a really cool I'm not even sure what you would properly call it, because it's more than just like, it's a fight that has a massive shared HP pool across the entire server. Like 10 million freaking HP, 11, 12 million freaking HP when it starts. And you have to damage specific spots on the body to kill it. And each part has, you know, so much HP in it. And you have to kill all the hearts. And as you kill the hearts, the dragon starts to necrotize. And then after a certain period of time, the dragon runs away and your damage is uploaded to the server. And then you just repeat this until eventually the dragon gets low enough to enter what's called grace period, where it enters a really low HP state and anyone can come and kill it if their damage is good enough.
Okay.
And before Bitter Black Isle came out, so before Dark Arisen, it was the best gear in the game. Or at least the best weapons.
So yeah, so I'm planning on finishing off Dragon's Dogma, and then after that, I'll kind of see where I am in Dawntrail. So my idea for Dawntrail is I would like to finish off the MSQ, and then depending on where we are with the raid, alliance raids, and patches, I'll see what I'm willing to go through. Because I don't know at this point.
The only thing that's going to be out, if you don't spend like 4 months doing the MSQ, is the normal raid. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't think we are expecting any other content until 4.1, which will be in November.
Oh, okay.
But
so yeah,
I'm at the point where it's like, I might come back to do the Alliance raid since it's FF11 crossover and such, but if I do, it's gonna be like 1 month in 4.5, and then I'm dipping again, unless 8.0 has like complete 180 on everything.
Got it.
But if they do that, they're going to lose all the Shadowbringer babies that never experienced TP. And because they're gonna be like, why do I have to manage my attack resources now? Why can't I just wall the wall and do bad damage?
Oh boy.
So basically, the game isn't for me anymore. It's not as in depth as I want a game to be. It's been brain deadified to the point where it's not for me.
Right. And I mean, honestly, I full blown understand that. And you know, the problem isn't the fact that, you know, it's not a, oh, well, you know, this game isn't for me. It's kind of my huge issue with being on Facebook and seeing people in groups and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the people in this group are so toxic. I'm going to get out of here. And it's just like, just go. Why do you need to make this announcement? And the same theory applies with people that are like, I mean, like with you, for instance. You would much rather say, hey, look, this game's not for me anymore. I'm going to duck out for a while. I might come back, whatever. And then there's all the little leftist sissy lalas that are like, no, you need to make the game accessible for people like me that don't understand mechanics, and you have to make it easier for people like me. So, I don't know. I fully understand your decision, and I honestly see no real logical argument to say, no, I think you're an idiot. But yeah, I'm gonna miss my broad shoulders that carry me through dungeons.
Yeah, well, you're also going to miss FC's chest space because that's where all the FC decorations are going.
Whatever. I'm fine. I don't need the FC house anyway. As long as I get to have
your play schedule.
Nope. As long as I still can put taco above my name, that's all I care about.
I figure if Will cares enough about the FC house, then he can start subscribing and keeping it alive.
Yeah, he's more than likely not up to that right now. So, meh, I'm fine.
I mean, all it really requires for the FC house is to log in and enter the house.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what he's got going on, but
so stupid.
I don't care enough about the FC house at this point because it's just a freaking anchor to and a waste of money that I'd rather be having fun playing something else like 11.
Right. No,
or Guild Wars.
Yeah, and I totally understand
WoW.
that. So, but basically, though, we still have access to the FC chest, and you can get it in, like, Limsa Laminsa and, you know, other places.
The only thing you'll lose access to is the FC house, your room in the FC house.
Yeah, which has just got a bunch of garbage in it anyway. Don't really care about that stuff.
Any decorations that are left in the FC house when the house is demolished get sent to a vendor in the residential quarter for pickup.
Got it. Yeah, like I said before, I don't really... The only thing I really use the FC house for is just a convenient place to teleport with a market board and a bell that doesn't have a bajillion people around it. That's basically all I use it for. Alright, let's see here.
And to Bladed's point about Dragon's Dogma Online, that is one I want to check out eventually, now that it has a private server. But last I heard they were still in the early days of the private server, and early days of private servers usually mean that nothing's properly implemented yet. So I will probably check that out later once everything's implemented.
So, operator, I have to ask, and I probably already know the answer to this question, but have you been following anything from the Olympics?
Not really. I saw the headlines about the opening ceremony, and all I've got to say about that is I don't want to be the guy that's in charge of that ceremony, because he's going to have some, well, let's just say he's going to be very uncomfortable for
a long time. Yeah. But I posted something in the anime area, and it's about a Turkish handgun participant. Why are they adding gaming to the Olympics? Because they added skateboarding, breakdancing, and surfing to the Olympics. They're trying to make people feel that the Olympics are cooler. No, it's stupid, and I really, really, really don't like it. But I have to say, I kind of am. I'm not a bajillion% against it, because one of my old teammates is actually actively working to get that set up for the Olympics. He is from Singapore, and he was appointed to like the Singaporean cabinet or something like that. He had an actual like appointed high-level government position within the Singaporean government, and kind of one of his big things that he did was spearhead the esports getting into the Olympics. But at the same time, it's just like, no, no. I really, really, really am against that. And I'm wearing my swim and dive alumni t-shirt. I was a swimmer in college, and I'm just like, yeah, no, let's not put gaming in the Olympics, because that opens the door for just really, really, really stupid things to be added to the Olympics. I mean, we have handball in the Olympics. I mean, who the frick actually plays handball? I mean, seriously. Like, how many handball leagues are there in the world? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I understand that I am not the most well-versed international sports enthusiast, but there's a lot of things that are in the Olympics that just should not be in the Olympics. But I am 100% a more traditional sport kind of guy, where you need to actually... I don't even know what handball is. Yeah, you're not alone. I don't even truly understand it. It's basically like a cross between soccer, it's like a cross between soccer and lacrosse. It's just kind of wonky. So, and you're dead. So, for me, I always view the Olympics as either actual physical capabilities or true skill capabilities. Like, shooting in the Olympics, absolutely fine. That takes a lot of accuracy, stamina, and just absolute precision. 100% precision. Okay. Like, ping pong and badminton. Okay? A little on the sillier side, but still, absolute precision. I mean, if you have tennis in the Olympics, you gotta have ping pong, gotta have badminton. Okay? I understand the connection there. But video games? No. I'm sorry. No. No, there needs to be a distinct division between sports culture and gaming culture. The whole esports thing, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that concept, but that doesn't belong in the Olympics. We got to draw a line somewhere, and when what you're doing requires you sitting and looking at a video game screen, I'm sorry. No, that isn't really a sport. It's not a sport. Like, I don't think golf is a sport. Okay? Golf is a game. A high-precision game. It's not a sport. Okay? Yeah. It's not a sport. Because it takes... you can be absolutely stupid overweight and still be a pretty dang good golfer. It's not a sport. Bowling, not a sport. That is a game.
Bull crap.
What?
Bowling is a sport.
Oh. I don't think so. I put it in the same arena as golf. But then again, that's just my theory. A feral theory. Thanks for watching. But yeah, who was it? A long time ago, I had like an absolute massive argument about that very subject. Who was it with? I can't remember for the life of me. But we had like massive arguments over this, and it was really funny. But anyway, so about this Turkish shooter guy. So this guy, the shooting sports are a little bit more on the ridiculous side in terms of how people actually do the thing. Like there are certain sports where it's like, okay, you know what? They just run really fast. I mean, there's certain sports like cycling, where basically in order to be able to do the sport at a very high level, especially the time trial event, your bike needs to cost at least $15,000 in order to even be competitive at that level. And in triathlon, the bikes are going to run you somewhere around 10 to 15,000, like upper end, you may be around 15,000. But triathlon bikes can get the road bikes they use in the triathlon event in the Olympics can be very expensive. So in the shooting categories, they have all these glasses and gloves and, you know, all this kind of different outfit stuffs that are supposed to increase the accuracy of those who do the sport. Now, this Turkish guy, he's 50 years old. He's wearing jeans and a t-shirt that says Turkey on it. I mean, the t-shirt looks somewhat official. But then he has no fancy gadgets, just holding a pistol. And the big photo of him is just him with his hand in his pocket. And he gets the silver medal. So the big thing is the fact that this guy just looks like he is completely nonchalantly entering the Olympics, and he gets second place with all these people with all of this all of this gadgets and gizmos and all that crap. But what's funnier is according to this Twitter source, and I understand this is Twitter, so there is a high probability this is just full of crap and it's really funny. But I want to believe this story. I truly want to believe this story. So the story is, allegedly, this 50-year-old man picked up shooting because of a bad divorce situation. And the guy, he earns the silver medal in the pistols category. I mean, I don't know if there's like a subcategory of pistols or something. But he basically gets on the awards podium, and then he says to his ex-wife, and we're just going to call her Megan because I can't remember the name. He goes, Megan, if you're watching this, I want my dog back. I just like, oh.
She took his dog, man.
I'm just like, what? Is this something straight out of Legally Blonde? Give me the dang dog. I'm just like, dude, I want this story to be true so bad. That's just awesome.
That's a sick thing that some women will do in a divorce is they'll take the dog, but it's not even theirs.
Oh, I know. No, I mean, the reason why I brought up Legally Blonde is Elle Woods winds up helping out her nail salon friend whose ex-husband basically took the dog in a divorce situation. So she would rather not live in their double wide trailer, but she wants the little tiny yapping poodle. So then she goes in, and then Elle Woods tries to do the whole legalese thing, and the guy goes, yeah, so what does that mean? And she just goes, I'm taking the dog. She just grabs the dog and walks off. And they're like, we got the dog, yeah! Oh, good Lord. Good golly. Yeah. That was pretty funny. And then, yeah, there's controversy in swimming. Apparently China got only 1 gold medal in all the swimming competitions. And it happened to be a guy in the 100 freestyle who broke the world record by, like, I want to say it's well over a half a second. And he was like 3/4 to a full body, like, ahead of everyone else. So yes, all the rumors that the guy is totally juicing are flying around. Yeah.
They're probably right.
I'm filing that in the, you know what, if we find that out in a couple years that he was totally roided up at one point, I mean, the guy was already stripped of a world championship title because of roids. It was like way back in, like, before 2020 or something like that. He'd already been stripped of a world championship or something like that. So it's just like, this guy just happens to win the gold and happens to break the world record and is one of the very, very few world records being broken at this competition. Yeah, it's a little bit on the suspicious side. Excuse me. So yeah, that's always fun. But it was really good to see Katie Ledecky completely own the mile. That's always a good time. I mean, that gal is just completely dominant in the distance events. Because she's one of those people where she is just a freak of nature and is just able to keep going for insane amount of time. But she didn't have the speed to win. I think it was the 400. She wound up getting 3rd in the 4, but I don't think they swim the 800 in the Olympics. I think they only do the mile. You do the 400 and then the mile. I can't remember if they do the 8. But yeah, no. She got third place in the 4 and just 100% dominated in the mile. Like, she was almost 25 meters ahead of everyone else. But that was a fun, it was a fun race for silver and bronze, though. The two gals that swam for silver and bronze, they were like neck and neck going into the final 50. So that's one length of the pool left. And then one of them just pulled ahead because the other one sprinted out too long or too far ahead, and she died. And it was just like, oh, it's the worst.
Wait, she died?
No. She died as in she got slower. No. Okay. The colloquialism in swimming of where if your body just basically gives out on you and you just slow down. That term is called dying. No, nobody died.
Dang.
The other thing too is I want more Bob the Cap Diver. We need more Bob the Cap Diver in the Olympics. So I take it you didn't hear about Bob the Cap Diver?
Nope.
So, so typically on the women's side, women wear 2 swim caps. So one of them is usually just kind of a normal, silicone swim cap. And then they'll put their goggles on, and then they'll put another swim cap over the first swim cap. So basically, it allows them to keep the goggles tucked underneath the swim cap, and it helps keep the goggles on better. And also, the second cap that they put on, it usually is a more hydrodynamic-oriented cap. So for women that don't want to do... Bladed wants to know if there are any sites archiving the major gameplay changes on Final Fantasy XIV.
That post on Reddit is a good place to start. Then, if you want to know in-depth patch stuff, you can use the Wayback Machine on the gameplay guide for Stormblood and Beyond. Let's see, Mr. Happy just did a series of videos for every job. And in that, he used one of the wikis with the Wayback Machine to go back and look at the old abilities.
So, okay, so now back to Bob the Cap Diver. So, basically, one of the women who swam in an event, she lost one of her caps off the start or something like that. And I think this was during the heats. So the way swimming works is you have all the heats in the morning, and then you have semifinals, which is top 16, and then finals, which is top 8. So I think it was one of the morning heats. Someone dove in, swam the event, and they lost their cap. So before the next heat started, they had this rando dude in like this hot pink Speedo come out. And he dove in, got the cap, and got out. And everyone was like, yeah! So then the announcers are like, all right, we got Bob the Cap Diver out here. And he's out here to get the cap. So it was pretty funny. Bob the Cap Diver. I want to be Bob the Cap Diver. I could be a good Bob the Cap Diver. What was also funny was, so one of my childhood friends... he works for a major pool construction company, and I do a lot of work with him for my job personally. But he went out to Indianapolis this year for the Olympic trials. I think their company is going to be responsible for constructing one or more of the above-ground pools for the Olympics when they come here to Los Angeles in 4 years. So what was funny was he sent me a picture of him on the starting blocks in Indianapolis, and he goes, "Hey, Farrell, how's my technique?" So then I wrote him back. I was like, dude, my 8-year-old daughter has better start technique than you do. Yeah, this is my friend who was basketball. He was big into basketball, and did he play football? I can't remember if he played football. I know he played basketball. He may have played baseball too. I don't remember. I know he played basketball, but I can't remember if he did a second sport or not. I know he like played Little League and stuff like that, but I can't remember if he actually made it on the high school team or not. All right, we gotta find Wook Lamont again.
Oh joy! Yeah, I was ready to kill Wook Lamont by the end of 6.55. The entire expansion went through was just pure torture. Alright, ready, Rock. Let's do this thing, whatever we're doing. Are you familiar with the Simpsons character Poochie?
I don't think so. Hold on. Maybe. Itchy, Scratchy, and Poochie Show. Oh, yes. I do somewhat remember him. So he is the with the Poochie is a part of the Itchy and Scratchy Show, correct?
For a whole episode.
Right.
A lot of people have compared Wook Lamont to Poochie.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How could you let this happen? How could you let Wook Lamont be an idiot? I don't know. You're her brother, dork. Excuse me. You bought another copy of Final Fantasy VIII? My most humble apologies. I will openly admit I am not really a fan of Final Fantasy VIII.
It's a good game.
I had major issues with the pacing of the game, and on top of that, major issues with the draw system in general. Like, I understand that there are people who would enjoy it, but it kind of felt like the story went off the rails way too far on Disc 2. It's kind of my same issue that I have with Xenogears. Like, Xenogears Disc 1, absolute classic, 10 out of 10. You get to Disc 2, and it's like they straight up ran out of budget. And they were like, oh no, we got a whole lot more game that we need to cover, and we can't, like, actually program or have any budget to create assets for anything more in this game. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll put the main character in a rocking chair and have him just talk about the story. And then we'll have you do a single fight in the mechs. And then you'll do another long story. And then you'll have your character run through a corridor-esque dungeon. And then fight another boss. And then another talkie section. And then another boss. And then that's the end of the game. That's what we're going to do on the entire second disc. I was like, what is even this? It was very strange indeed. But like I said, the first disc is phenomenal. Very good game, very, very good, well done characters. They did so many things right. And then Disc 2, it just took a straight up nosedive into a gigantic piece of cow poop. But, my favorite thing with Final Fantasy VIII is the actual Squall is dead theory. Even though that was basically 100% debunked by the series creator. That's one of those stupid fan theories that I like to believe. It makes things make a lot more sense, in my opinion. Excuse me. But yeah, I also played Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII originally on a HP Pavilion Pentium 1 PC. Yeah, nothing like trying to hit Tifa's limit break with 10 frames per second. It's fantastic. Same with Chocobo Racing at 10 frames per second. I actually got a joke.
Why playing it on PS1?
Because I didn't have a PS1 back then. I started Sony with PS2, and that was only because we told my parents it doubled as a DVD player. I was one of those kids. and then we bought the bouncer. Bouncer was a bad game. It was just straight up not good. Okay, where the frick am I going? Speak to the wayward peddler. But yeah, Bladed, just so you know, I have played basically every main installment of Final Fantasy minus Original 2, Original 3, and 11 and 16. I have played through...
So when are you doing 11?
Huh?
When are you doing 11?
Probably never.
Come on.
No, I would...
a better story than 14.
It would take...
Nowhere near as long as you think.
Oh, it isn't that long?
It would take... Well, for you, it'd probably take about a year to go through all of the stories.
Okay. But yeah, no. I got far too many other things that I want to play before I would dive into Final Fantasy XI.
but it's a lot more solo friendly than it used to be, and it's a lot less grindy in a lot of ways.
Oh, okay.
You're spot on, Bladed. The theory is basically just that everything after that is Squall hallucinating as he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of stuff happens in the second disc that just doesn't really jive with everything that went on with the first disc. I will say, though, one of the Final Fantasies that I think should get a little bit more love, even though it's just kind of a hodgepodge of rando stuff, is Final Fantasy Type 0. Have you played that one, Operator?
No. I watched a review for it.
It's actually pretty good. My only gripe about it is that it completely de-emphasized the post-game. Like, legitimately, you can platinum that game on PS4 without ever touching the end post-game stuffs, which I didn't even bother with at all. I just got the platinum and I was done with it. But overall, it's actually a pretty good game. But yeah, I finally beat Final Fantasy 1 like last year, I think. I think I finally beat that one early last year. Still needed a 2 and 3. Planning on playing 16 eventually when it comes out on PC. I'm not going to get a PS5.
Honestly, everything I've heard, I don't recommend it.
If I can get it for cheap, you know, if I can get it for 20, 30 bucks, I'd play it. I'm not paying full pop for it. I definitely wouldn't pay full pop for it. But 20 to 30...
See how you feel about Dawntrail before you play it. Because it's basically got all the problems that 14's MSQ has. They took 14 and made a single-player version of it, and that's 16.
Really?
Right down to the extremely easy, boring gameplay.
I mean, I did play through the entirety of Kingdom Hearts. You want to talk about boring and simple gameplay? Like sincerely, unless you're playing on Proud mode,
which I did.
Right.
So I have no clue what you're talking about because I played that game on a difficulty setting where it was like, how the heck are you calling this game boring and easy?
If you play it on normal mode, it's mostly boring and easy. But I did beat Sephiroth. Okay, I have beaten all the incarnations of Sephiroth. I think. I know I did on 2. Did I finish the secret boss on 3? I don't think I did. I don't think I attempted it. Okay. Alright, we're gonna set a trap, apparently. Take Guana's lead and try not to fall behind.
For some reason, they pronounce his name Kona. Which, yeah, makes no sense with how it's spelled, but...
No.
That's what they did with the voice direction, apparently.
Meh. Yeah, Bladed. I did not play Agito. When I say the main installments, that's like most of the main console releases. So stuff on like Game Boy, Vita, DS. I didn't play a lot of those. Okay, so what was I supposed to do? Okay. Happy. I am exuberated. Huzzah! He is now happy. Let's go, Catboy. But my favorites, my personal favorites from the series are Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy Tactics, let me think. Type 0, 10, 12. Yeah, those are most of those are my favorites. I did enjoy 5, although I played that like 20 years ago. So that's one of the ones that is like the least one that I remember. But yeah.
Okay. If you could please get your stuff out of the FC house at some point.
Okay. I'll do it tonight.
Thank you. Other than that, I've almost got enough space liquidated into the FC chest to finish shoving everything in.
Okay.
And I want to get this done before my sub re-ups here in a few days.
I'll take care of it tonight.
I know. I'm just rambling.
Okay. That's fine.
Place looks different now that it's so empty.
Oh, the FF anthology because of FF6. Do I have that one? Yeah, actually. No! Things falling. There's my copy of anthology. Right there. Crap that fell off. All my other stuff that fell off my my upper shelf. I would say if you're looking at getting FF6 and you're thinking between Anthology and Pixel Remaster, get the Pixel Remaster. The problem with the PlayStation 1 versions is you have to actually deal with load times. And yeah, that sucks. Load times suck.
Unless you emulate.
Yeah, unless you emulate. But if you're playing it disc-based, yeah, you're going to have to deal with load times. And that is the suck.
I highly advise emulation for the older games.
Yeah. Yeah, worse load times and music is compressed. Yeah. Yeah. I will say, though, playing FF7 on PC, you actually had better MIDI sound quality than playing on PS1. Because you can reroute the song through it was like Yamaha Synthwave or something like that. They had some different software on the IDOS PC version. Made huge difference in quality of music overall on the entirety of the game. So yeah, that was one nice thing. I actually still have my PC copy of it. It's somewhere around here. I don't know. Off the top of my head. Ah, gonna play on Famicom. Okay. That's solid. I know Spanish, but Japanese, I'm just like, nope, don't have time to learn that. As much as I wanna.
With the way the world's going, it may soon be the only way to enjoy good games.
Right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there on the MSQ today. Let's get back to the FC house.
Yeah,
No,
The MSQ this time around is a big slog.
Yeah, kind of is. I'll freely admit it. Move to my private chambers. Okay, so I need to go.
It'll be under your main menu, social housing.
Ah, social housing. There you go. PS5 makes me weep.
And with the amount of gil you have on you, you can buy an apartment to put all this crap in.
There you go.
You should check the... Wait, you didn't check the storage.
Hmm?
You didn't check... There's a storage tab. And you also have some stuff hanging out in this room.
Oh, okay. No.
Indoor furnishings. And then... Okay, you don't have anything in your storeroom. So.
Nope.
You don't need to worry about the tabs at the top. That's for category filtering.
Got it. Yeah, my thing is, though, with the PS5, it's like, I don't have enough time to actually sit and play console games a lot anymore. Because 90% of the time, my children are taking over all of the indoor stuffs. Let's see here. Move. Alright. There you go.
Thank you.
Alright. That's it. I'm gonna dump them all in a retainer. Oops. Wrong button. All right. I think we're gonna call it there for the night. But Bladed, just kind of my personal thought on PS5 is, I would really like to own one. But my major problem is there's just not enough games on that specific system that I'm like, oh, I have to play that game. The way things are going, it really does feel like, minus Nintendo, all the other consoles are going to become extremely irrelevant. I personally think Xbox might be done. I think Microsoft just might start pushing like more gaming-friendly consoles rather than making gaming-friendly PCs rather than explicitly making a console. And it's going to be a lot more of a multimedia, entertainment, interactive kind of a deal, rather than a strict gaming machine, which really, minus the Nintendo, they haven't really had those for a while. They've been chocked full of all the streaming services and all that other crap. So it's like, I mean, a lot of people, they don't have a need for that, but they have a decent PC, but then they just don't need the console anymore, because you have a decent enough PC, you can play almost anything on average graphics settings. Only want to play GTA Online. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I know for me, a big decision would be what happens with the next Persona game. I am a gigantic Persona fan. Persona 3, 4, 5 are 3 of the best games ever created. They are so much fun to play. Just overall, from start to finish, very good experiences. But just legitimately, the PS5 just doesn't have the library that makes me want to buy that console. The Nintendo Switch, I bought it day one because I knew that was going to be an amazing console, and I have had so much fun with my Switch. I mean, the
problem the Switch has is emulation.
Yeah.
Emulation's already available for the Switch, and it's better than the Switch.
Like, I almost have 30 games I've already purchased for the Switch. That doesn't even count the digital ones. I mean, most of the digital ones are like small time or simply don't exist in a physical offering. But yeah, no, I understand about the emulation and stuff like that, but I take that little guy with me on all my travel trips, and that's been fantastic. I just love having that with me on travel trips. Yes, I understand. If I bought a Steam Deck, probably better, all around experience than a Switch in terms of graphical powerhouse, blah, blah, blah. But I can't drop another 500 on a console. That's basically what it comes down to. I just can't drop the money on a console like that. And my problem is, I would legitimately only use it if I'm on the road. And if I'm not on the road, it's just going to sit there and I'm going to feel like garbage. As opposed to the Switch, I mean, both my daughters use my Switch, and we bought one for my older daughter. So the two of them just sit and play all the time. So, the Switches get a lot of use. The Steam Deck, I would be way too worried that my kids are going to break it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it for me. I got to get out of here. I got to get to bed. So, anyway, we'll be back tomorrow night. More MSQ. Sorry about the late start tonight. I had to fix something on my daughter's profile. My daughter accidentally wound up signing in to a random AI online using her Google account. And my wife and I are like, yeah, that's not good. We need to sit down with her and explain to her, yeah, just don't do that kind of a thing. Okay, just don't do it anymore. So anyway, I had to dig around and figure out how to figure out which account it was connected to so that I can disconnect it. So that was fun. That's why I was late tonight. So we'll be back tomorrow night. I might be on tomorrow morning. I'll have to see. If I'm on tomorrow morning, we'll just blow through more of the MSQ. So anyway, operator, thank you very much for hanging out tonight.
Happy to be here.
So, yeah, thanks, Glitch and Bladed, for hanging out. Thank you, Bladed, for joining the Frito Bandito Taqueria after party. Make sure that you are on the Discord. Check the link tree. Scroll all the way down. Find the link for the Discord. Join in the shenanigans. And hope to see you tomorrow. So until then, my friends, good night, Isaiah Norris. Oh, wherever you are.
You are.
Good night, everyone. Good night.